Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to a new TW9 video. You join us now after the JR Tribute Show and we are on the road to Dynasty. Got a good 5-week build I think, so quite a good wee bit of time to put a card together, although we have a few matches kind of hinted at on our first Dynamite. Such a stacked Dynamite that, we still don't have that Steve Austin promo. He is signed, we'll probably make him say something in Collision, so that obviously will be later on in the video, but this one, Dynamite in particular, sets up a few things, gets the wheels in motion for a few things, and continues, of course, the two tournaments that we've got that hopefully, I think, more confidently will be finished by Double or Nothing. But if it does the end game of helping a lot of the women get their, not just their overness up, but also their development of their technical attributes and psychological attributes, then it's been a win-win. But anyway, we have 4 shows to cover, so without further ado, let's just hit the boom and start with Dynamite. So we're at the Reed Green Coliseum, and I decided to really go all in right off the bat. So we have Darby Allin come out straight away, and he says he's sick of people getting in the way, he's sick of people cheating, obviously talking about Claudio getting in the way, and then obviously Christian Cage, well, obviously being in the way, preventing Darby from being the world champion. So he says he challenges Christian Cage to a world title match tonight, and he says if he loses to Christian, then he'll happily accept that he can never challenge for the world title again while Christian is champion. And Christian has a kind of smirk in his face. He says, you know what, it's obviously going to be a bit of a challenge, but if I can get you out of my hair going forward, then it's a risk I'm willing to take. So a 66 promo setting up our main event for Dynamite, AEW World Heavyweight Championship, Christian Cage versus Darby Allin. Storyline advances. Opening contest of the evening was in the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix, Group B. It was a decent matchup that saw Mayu Yamashita defeat Anna Jay in 9:27 with the Crash Rabbit Heat. We made this one go out and steal the show because obviously Mayu's just tremendous and would carry anybody. But a 67 from her, a 36 from Anna Jay. So again with Anna, it's just working with her, helping her develop, putting her in with these really good athletes, and hopefully she can improve. And yeah, 62 and 3 points for Mayu. Next up with a backstage segment with Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. He basically explains to Bryan, he says, well, it's good that you got a hold of Sammy for this matchup, you know, for the run-in. But why didn't you tell me this was happening? Why didn't you tell me he was, you know, going to be about? Bryan basically just says, I forgot, I just have got too much in my mind with such a big matchup at the event, you know, a lot we really had to focus on. But what we need to focus on now is you've had a lot of big losses recently, and this can't keep happening. You know, we need to be getting up these wins. We just can't keep getting beaten up and losing. We've got to take the fight to the BCC, to the Bang Bang Gang, and to, of course, the Undisputed Kingdom, who are kicking about as well. It truly is brand warfare, or faction warfare. So 63, Bryan benefits from the groundswell of public support. Next up, we had a decent matchup here for the TNT Championship. I had Daniel Garcia defeat Nick Wayne in 9:42 by submission with a sharpshooter. This was Daniel Garcia's second defence of the TNT title. Actually pretty decent stuff here, 64 wrestling, 55 for the crowd, and a 66 overall. Garcia with a 67, Wayne with a 60. I wasn't too sure if the style difference would maybe clash, but no, they've done some good stuff there. And DG picks up the win. After the matchup, because it was a pretty good matchup, Daniel Garcia offers a handshake to Nick Wayne, obviously after being previously dropped by Christian Cage, and actually Nick Wayne decides to accept it. So a 55 segment, and this is the part after 7 segments where we turn him babyface. Basically, a lot of people want to put Nick Wayne over. They're all heels, so let's start the babyface ascendancy to the top. Next up in the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix Group D, we had a decent matchup that saw Sari defeat Marina Shafir in 9:10 with a roll-up. Because I feel in this kind of matchup, you'd have Marina Shafir working body parts, being dominant, but you could have that kind of out of nowhere that Sari maybe gets like a surprise roll-up victory. But a 58 for the wrestling, 62 for the segment. Sari with a 65 against Marina Shafir's 51. On to more storyline stuff. So basically, it was Will Ospreay versus Bobby Lashley, and that matchup saw Swerve Strickland cost Will Ospreay. So this should have had Renee in as well, That was the interviewer. I must have not clicked add. But it basically allows us to start the storyline, and Swerve basically explains his actions. Ospreay isn't here tonight, so just basically says, why did I do it? When obviously there's history with him and Ospreay. Look at the last time I beat Will Ospreay. That's sending me, I was world champion. I think he was world champion. I was about to win the world championship. I think he was world champion. And look at me now. Couple of defeats. Wasn't it Orange Cassidy? I need to get back to the top. And if I can face someone like Will Ospreay and beat Will Ospreay, then damn right I'll be right back up there in world title contention. So a 60 as we start that story. I'm sure he was champion. It was Ospreay. I'm sure it was Swerve champion versus Ospreay contender. And Ospreay put him over. So to obviously establish that he was the man. That Swerve was the man at the point. So yeah, we'll go with that storyline. I'm sure that's what happened. It was a long time ago. That much happens. Next up, About that had some decent wrestling, but not a lot of heat. As we head to Tsukasa, I'm never going to get her name right at all. I would call her Fujimoto. She defeats Sky Blue in 7:33 with a Tsukadora. Oh dear. Match for storytelling in Group A. So my mind with this one was Sky Blue obviously is a lot more over in the States than Fujimoto, but Fujimoto is obviously technically incredible. So she would carry the match for that perspective. I'm pretty sure we had to protect Sky Blue. So that obviously hampered the match to 49, but I took two ways of this one. You obviously get Fujimoto more over in the US, but at the same time working with someone like Fujimoto would benefit the technical attributes and the psychology of Sky Blue. So hopefully we cover a lot of bases with that one. And obviously we need to establish some of these Japanese women over in the States if there's any we want to keep on after the tournament. Next up, we have Sami Zayn. I've still not edited his name. I'm going to call him Sami Zayn, except instead I'll maybe make it 2 M's. So he says he's delighted to be in AEW and align with his friend Bryan Danielson in this faction warfare. He notes he's ready to face the BCC, the Bang Bang Gang, and of course Undisputed Kingdom. He says he knows he's got some people that he's got mega histories with, especially in the BCC, likes of Claudio Castagnoli and the Bastard Pack, and to an extent Moxley as well. And if we're going way back, obviously some stuff with Roddy, etc. Claudio comes out and he says, yep, I know we have this history, but I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Reconsider who you're aligning with before you get hurt by the BCC. I'll eventually rename them Death Riders. I know this is like 3 months after they have been renamed, but yeah, I'm a bit ahead. But 75 for the segment. Sammy's promos are going to carry us and get us to the next level, which is good. His was an 83. Claudio's was a 63. But yeah, I think that's a good way. You touch a bit on the history they've had elsewhere, whether it be, of course, WWE or Ring of Honor, PWG, etc. back in the day. And yeah, just forming the battle lines for the storyline. Next up, it was the Briscoes Tag Team Cup Group B. And this is my Wild Brawl match. I felt that would suit the Butcher and Brody King especially, and it certainly has here. The Kings of the Black Throne defeated the Butcher and the Blade in 7:39 when Brody King pinned the Blade with Dante's Inferno. Brody was head and shoulders above the rest, showing that he suits this style, with 77, and overall the matchup gathered a 70 segment rating. So pretty good stuff. We then had the Women's Champion in action, Mariah May, in Super Shine Elite Grand Prix Group C. She defeats Queen Aminata in 9:56 with a reverse bulldog. Again, just getting her another good victory here and another 3 points under her belt in a 65 rated segment. We then had some words from the Undisputed Kingdom in this forum, so we will see Keller Elliott move to that stable. What we do with Taven and Bennett, I don't actually know right now, but who's ready for story time? So first off, Cole says it's good to have a true United Kingdom. He says it's always been him, Roddy, Kyle. There has been others, hi Bobby Fish, but these 3 are already just dominate across AEW. He says, MGF, you're safe for now, but one day I will come back hunting for you, so don't you rest easy, because obviously I've got MGF tied up with Daniel Garcia. At the same time with that, I kind of have everyone have cutting promos on the show. There's like so many people that maybe be Collision on next week's Dynamite, but obviously we'll tap more into MGF v Garcia. Because MGF and Cole are both heels, we'll keep them apart, but we will come back to that at one point. And then the third party just says, how do you like that, Sammy? when I debuted here in AEW, Bryan Danielson ruined my moment. So I took it upon myself to not only ruin yours, but also to take him down as well. This is faction warfare in AEW, and I fully intend to take me, Roddy, and Kyle to the top. So you better watch out as well, Bang Bang Gang and the Blackpool Combat Club. So because I put Roddy and Kyle as cutting promos as well, that's probably why it's only a 48. But it's just really establishing that we effectively have 4 massive staples at the top, and there's obviously other staples elsewhere within the company. I hope it makes sense. And in a superb matchup, main event time on AEW Dynamite, Christian Cage defeats Darby Allin in 21:34 with a spear following interference from Hangman Adam Page. Christian Cage makes defense number 2 of the AEW World title. So Darby brings a 74, Christian 77, sorry, Christian has the 74. 75 for the wrestling, 63 for the crowd, 74 for the segment. Both guys together had great chemistry, and that showed in their performances. Christian benefiting from being an amazing forum. The storyline advances, gains a bit of heat. So a few negatives there, both guys' physical condition, inconsistency. Nothing about the stamina for Christian going 20 minutes, that's good. But I really want to continue on the stuff between Darby and Hangman. As I say, they've had a brutal exploding death match. I don't know how we can top that, but as I say, if we can keep those two occupied with each other, it opens up a new contender for Christian Cage. And we will find that out next. So Christian basically cuts a promo and he says, now that I've gotten this loser out of the way, who's going to step forward and try and take me out at Dynasty? Step forward the next challenger. We only hear the music, and basically it is just Orange Cassidy standing at the top of the ramp with a thumbs up, and somehow a 77 and 83 for Orange Cassidy working the crowd and just going thumbs up. That is incredible. I should probably utilise that more often. That is absolutely incredible. So good stuff there. Interesting, Christian's getting a little bit stale, so I might need to work on that one. But I'd like to hope with an 80 final segment, a 74 main event, we should be looking at about a 76 for this one. A 75. So increase our popularity in 13 regions for Dynamite, so we must be really having to knock it out of the park going forward. Maybe even into the, like a 70-70 properly improve, because we're obviously showing this, the program everywhere, so we might need to look at that. We'll see, but the main event stuff is strong, which is good. Big thumbs up to likes of Castagnoli with Sami Zayn, and of course the stuff with Christian and Orange Cassidy. But you can see that there's already a few matches that either hinted it highly or nudge, it's definitely going to happen. And I think we can be happy we're at this point to say now we're starting to hit those 70s quite consistently, and hopefully we can move on further forward with that. We'll jump out, we'll see if there was any locker room incidents before Rampage. Stephon Smith and Rebel got in a heated argument, and that is it. So, move over to Rampage. Let's see what's happening. So Rampage then. Rampage saw just over 6,000 in attendance for that and Dynamite. We opened up with Riho defeating Ryo Mizunami in a matchup. Basically every match was in the women's tournament, just to get those matches, kind of get more and more of them so we can get it done in time. So a 44 for that one. With some words from Timeless Toni Storm proclaiming she's going to win the tournament, which was a 78. Azumi defeats Alex Windsor, which was a 46. Fujimoto defeats Taya Valkyrie in a 39. Again, way to keep Taya Valkyrie strong to put Fujimoto over. It is what it is. We had some hype package for Sky Blue. Again, getting her over. She's obviously going to develop technically. And it's up to us to get her over in terms of character as well. Misariga defeated Gazelle Shaw, which was a 46. We then had some words from the rest of the faction alongside Taya Valkyrie. It was of course Megan Bain and Diora Purrazzo. Basically stating that Taya's just had a little bit of wobble, but Megan and Diona will have strong tournaments and will hopefully be contending near the final. And our main event, which obviously is two fantastic workers, but not the most over in the world in America. So Saori Anu defeat Arisa Nakajima in a 50 rated matchup. So that was Rampage. That's quite good. We've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women's matches ticked off in the tournament, so good stuff there. We'll get some tonight for Collision, and then some on Shockwave as well, so sit back and relax. Now we're heading to Collision. which takes place at the ShoWare Centre. We are in Seattle, Washington, and we start off with Seattle native Darby Allin defeating Brian Keith in 7:24 with a coffin drop. Believe it or not, I made this the storytelling match of the night. Just Darby Allin just taking the rage out from what happened, being cost his chance at the championship again because of the interference on the Dynamite main event. Overall, a 63, 46 and 68, which I think is pretty good considering it went 5 minutes, or 7 minutes, sorry. I was a bit put off there when it says Matt Bennett has DVD staff gimmick. Obviously that's Sean Bennett, the referee, who obviously now goes by Matt Bennett. So he is here in AEW, but Darby picks up the win. Of course, we have some words from Darby Allin in this 71 rated segment. He just basically talks about, he's not going to go silent. Oh no, what happened means that he and Adam Page are going to go back to war. He says, "You've cost me the AEW World Championship for the considerable future. So whilst Christian Cage is the champion, Hangman Adam Page, for the considerable future, I'm going to make your life hell." So just basically getting a bit more between these two so we can build up for another big match down the line. Next up, we had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as home native Swerve Strickland, well, close, obviously he's from Tacoma, but he defeated Hologram in 10:54 with the Swerve Stomp and made these two go out and steal the show, which they did. 78 for the wrestling, 54 for the crowd, 80 for the segment. Swerve picks up a big victory. He has some words, obviously, talking about his actions. He just says, obviously, doesn't regret what he did. He basically says he is going to beat Will Ospreay down. He is going to propel himself back into World Championship contention. And obviously Ospreay is pissed that he cost him the match up against Bobby Lashley. So he rushes to the ring and the two of them have a brawl. So a 67 for the segment overall. Ospreay looked good. Swerve benefits from a hot catchphrase. The storyline gained some heat. Good stuff. We had a Group C match which saw decent wrestling but not a lot of heat as Deonna Purrazzo defeats Thekla in 9:10 with the Fujiwara armbar. Overall, a 61. Some good stuff here. I think they actually meshed quite well with Deonna picking up a 67 in-ring performance. Then I had a short video, just basically Chris Jericho drilling the troops. Basically we see Wardlow just having a mega workout and we basically see Ricky Starks modelling down his pose and stuff like that. And we just see Britt Baker with lots of waltz, I guess. I don't know, we'll just try to make her look $1 million anyway. Just showing all our key stuff that made her a dentist basically. And that is a 61 for the undeniable. Then a little segment where we had Jack Perry cutting around down an alleyway and he bumps into Raven. Doesn't say any words, but Raven says a lot. So they call you the scapegoat. It seems like your friends have abandoned you, they've left you alone to walk alone. This all sounds familiar, but I think if you need advice for anyone, just be like me. Hate the world. Get a flock. Be a leader of men. Quote the Raven. Nevermore. So I'm basically trying to, if I can explain what my aim is here, having Jack Perry get down a proper scapegoat situation where he's all alone, and then eventually he will get an army to fight back basically. But that is a 51 as he meets Raven. Moving along in the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix Group B, we had Jamie Hayter defeat Saraya in 9:26 with the Falcon Arrow. A 64 overall, 72 for Jamie. Saraya is woeful in this, so I don't know if we'll need to cut her when we get the chance basically, because these ratings just ain't cutting it at all. Then had an over-the-top entrance for your CEO, Mercedes Moné, as she gets ready to take part in her tournament matchup tonight. That rating was a 74. And she defeated Mai Saruga in 9:47 by pinfall. So I thought these two would click a bit better than they did. A 67 for Mercedes, a 57 for Mai, 65 overall. Just again making Mercedes look completely dominant, picking up another victory. Then we have a little segment backstage, which is an 83, which is showing that Sami Zayn has been an excellent pickup. But it's backstage, Bryan Danielson and Sami Zayn alongside Wheeler Yuta. Bryan basically says, Yuta, it's okay, leave tonight to just me and Sami. Just chill back here, we'll sort it out, we'll get the victory. We've got two very dangerous opponents in Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, but we'll be fine. And you can just tell, like, Wheeler Yuta's got that pissed expression on his face, like how he looks in that picture, he's not happy. They looked lost compared to Bryan and Sami, and I'm looking forward to what should be a spectacular main event later. Next up with the Wild Brawl, we had Chris Statlander defeat Yuka Sakazaki in 850 with the Big Bang Theory. This was in Group D. 65 overall. I think obviously a brawl doesn't really suit Yuka, but I had to put it in as one type of match. And this is what it was. So overall, 65. Should be main event time. In fact, I think there's one more segment than the main event. Because we have some words from Daniel Garcia. He just basically comes out and says, you know, MJF's went a bit radio silent since his threat. Well, Daniel Garcia's like this. Anytime, any place, I'll be ready for it, you MJF. And I'm going to break your neck. So 64 there is obviously, we've had the GR Tribute show, so we can push on with this Daniel Garcia and MJF feud. Which leads us to our main event. I have high expectations for this, so please deliver. It did. I was kind of hoping maybe a bit better than that, which shows how high expectations I did have. But a technical masterclass that had some great wrestling and good heat. So a team of Sami Zayn and Bryan Danielson defeat the Undisputed Kingdom's Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong in 22:03 when Sami Zayn pinned Roderick Strong with a brainbuster. Bryan Danielson carried the match in terms of in-ring with an 88. The rest were very respectable, 75, 70 and 67. Good to know that Kyle and Roddy have excellent chemistry. I didn't actually know that, so that's going to work out perfect. But 75, 56, 81 for the matchup. I think we might be close to an 80 rated collision here, thanks to that good promo with Sami and Bryan. And we finished the show when this all went down. Backstage, we see Adam Cole, and he's beating the hell out of Wheeler Yuta, who has just been left in a heap of his own blood. So that's a 59. Bryan's storyline advances, loses a little bit of heat. And we finished the show with an 80, but we only increased our popularity in 6 regions. I'm assuming we only have, as I say, still poor distribution for Collision, which is a shame because that was really, really good. You know, there's some good matches in there. We'll see if anything happens before Shockwave, locker room incidents. Jay Lethal is being influenced by Christian Cage. Maybe he needs a father figure. And that is it. So I'm going to go back to Shockwave, and then we'll head to that. So straight to Shockwave we go, and it turns out 5,720 people for this double taping at the Showwear Centre. We start up with Don Callis in the ring, and he gives some words on his client, of course, who is Konosuke Takeshita. They talk about all his accolades, all the people he's beaten, and how he stands here now before you as the AEW International Champion. They simply say, it's a long time to Dynasty, but who's going to step up? So 79, no one steps up at this point, puts that one out. It could be anyone. Even right now, I don't know who it's going to be, but hopefully it leads to a banger, and a 79's a banger of a segment. We had a match up in the Briscoes Tag Team Cup, the Group C, and we had a bout that saw decent wrestling, but not a lot of heat, as the Workhorsemen JD Drake and Anthony Henry defeat Reynolds and Silver in 7:31 when JD Drake pinned Alex Reynolds. So only a 45 overall, JD Drake off his game, but sadly because of the lack of overness in both teams, the crowd were not properly invested, but a good win nonetheless for the Workhorsemen. We then had another pre-show affected match up here, but it was in the Super Shine Grand Prix, Group A, and Tay Melo defeats Gazelle Shaw in 8:45 with the cross armbar. A good chance to give Tay Melo her first points of the tournament, and this match was designed to tell a story, i.e. our weakest match on the card. Next up, we have a matchup set up for next week's Dynamite. We are going to see a tag team contest in the group, of course. That is going to see the Righteous against Aussie Open. And we just have one of those weird, wacky promos you get from Dutch and Vincent, just saying, you know, and everything's maybe not quite right with Fletcher and Davis. Maybe Davis is a bit jealous that Fletcher came out and being a solo star. They'll try getting to the heads, man. You dig what I'm saying? So that's a 47. Back into the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix. we had a wild brawl that didn't really suit Maki Ito, as you can tell by her start there, but she loses to Willow Nightingale in 9:23 by pinfall. We'll just say it was an incredible pounce to next year from Group B's good stuff. 59 overall. Only Willow's second match of the tournament. As I say, someone I feel like we've maybe not utilised to great effect so far, but a good win here. Setting her up, going forward. More women's tournament action. Saw a decent matchup that saw Mina Shirakawa, we want Mina, as she defeated Masha Slamovich in 9:03 with the implant DDT. For a Group C match, I felt this was pretty good. 57 for Mina, 64 from Masha, and they combined for a 64. It's one of those matchups where I quite like to see it, to see how it would go down in real life. Not gonna lie, quite cool. Building up more stuff for Dynamite. We basically see Mariah May talking about how she's going to dominate this tournament. Well, Thunder Rosa comes out and says, well, we have a matchup coming up soon, and if you're so confident that you can beat Lamela Mela, then why don't you defeat Mariah May? I hope that's her nickname. If you feel you can put your championship on the line. She antagonises her a little bit. Mariah obviously gets flustered and ends up saying, fine, I'll put the title on the line as well. So 2 good matches already booked in for Dynamite. Mariah May, Thunder Rosa in the women's tournament and for the women's title, and the Righteous versus Aussie Open. That was a 62. It's a good way to kill some filler stuff on Shockwave, is booking matches for your next show. Next up, sadly affected by the pre-show workers, we had a bout with decent wrestling that didn't have much heat, and Serena Deeb defeated Arisa Nakajima in 8:31 by submission in Group D. 57 and 62. That's pretty okay. I feel like if both of them were over in the States, it'd be far, far better. And a 47 overall. This was hopefully to save the show when we lose Pop here. So the 85 at the start is just Orange Cassidy coming out and working the crowd. They're just all going mental for him. But he basically cuts a promo here on Christian. Christian doesn't appear. And he just basically talks about how he's been here since day one. He's had good opportunities before and he's taken them, but it's time for him to show he's ready to step up and win the big one. The championships before have been great, but he wants to win the main title here in AEW, and he's going to defeat Christian Cage to do so. So storyline advances. He benefits from having a hot catchphrase, but he doesn't have a catchphrase. And it's the 74, putting all the pressure in the world on this main event to deliver, which it might. That's not too bad. But they had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as the Young Bucks defeat the Grizzled Young Veterans in 14:09 when Nicholas Jackson pinned James Drake with the Meltzer driver. Made it steal the show. Nick Jackson was the strongest. James Drake was the weak link here, only with a 59 off his game as well. Really off his game, which didn't help. But a good matchup in Group C. You'll probably notice with Shockwave, as I say, the Young Bucks, the Lucha Bros, FTR, and the House of Black, or the Kings of the Black Throne anyway, will be the ones that carry this show, just because I know I can get good main event tag matches. But overall, Bucks pick up their first win after losing to Private Party, and that is a 78 rated segment, meaning the show itself didn't lose its pop, which is good. Increased their popularity in 6 regions with the 75, so probably those two and Don Callis has saved the day. Who'd have thought that? Obviously we didn't really further much, but at the end of the day, it was just a bit. This show is all about the tournaments. So, our financial report sees us gain a £2 million profit because it's mostly on the AEW network. Popularity recap, you can see there, not great. Maybe we need to just have. I think it's more so Dynamite that has to be outstanding, or maybe we just need to get our network to a higher size, which I think I might do soon because we obviously have the money we can clearly spend now. But we'll cut back to the main screen, we'll see if there's any news kicking about, and of course we'll look at those updated tournament standings as we head to, I think it was one more week in March. It was this March weather, and then we're on the road to Dynasty. I think it'll be 4 weeks now, I think. So I'll have a quick look here. So Collision really struck gold. Shockwave drawing a lot of praise. That's good to see. I don't know if there's anything else there that directly affects us. Miwabe is going to take some time off on a hiatus, but nah, nothing that I can see. So a lot of our Dynamite stuff is expiring, but as I say, we are just going to be pretty much taking the half-arsed approach and just putting everything on the AEW network. So I think we probably will expand that. A few people relocate, but you can see there Collision, I don't think I have put Collision on the network, but you can tell that I've clearly put Shockwave on the network. And John Silver talks well according to Chuck Taylor. Let's have a look. AEW Network, no, it's Shockwave, Dynamite, so Collision isn't yet. I've kept Collision on what it's on to keep it a wee bit remotely realistic. That's fine. Bye. Like, all this stuff will just move to the network. It's not as if I've made it massive. It's like everything is medium so far, but as I say, with the money we've made for it so far, I'd be as well as just properly committing to it, and hopefully helps the growth of the company is in terms of size rather than financially. But 4 weeks, as I say, 28 days to that. Our next Dynamite and free, and as I say, we'll check the tournaments. We have a lot of morale issues. I'm going to have to sort that again. So, not too much has changed in Group A. Still got the Lucha Bros and Aussie Open 100% records. Top Flight and the Righteous have won as well. Top Flight 1 win, 1 defeat. 2 defeats for the Kingdom. Group B, not too much there, but it's still FTR, MXM Collection, and the Kings of the Black Throne leading the way. In Group C, the Bucks now back level with Private Party and the Workhorsemen and the Guns. Not looking too rosy at the moment for the GYV or Reynolds and Silver. Into the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix, Mercedes Moné leads the way with 4 wins from 5. But you've still got the likes of Toni Storm to have 8 matches, so she's going to be a busy, busy lady. So you've got her in that situation. You've got Fujimoto with 9 points. You get 6 points there for Sky Blue. And you've got the likes of Gazelle Shaw, who's 3 defeats from 3. Likewise with Taya Valkyrie. In Group B, Athena has a 100% record on 6 points. 100% record for Jamie Hayter on 9. Azumi has 6 points from a possible 12. Willow has 3 from 6. Alex Windsor has yet to get off the mark. Group C, 2 wins from 2 for Mariah May. 3 wins from 3 for Io Shirai. Not a great tournament so far, Ryo Mizunami. And kind of mixed records elsewhere. Thunder Rosa with 2 wins as she looks to go 3 for 3. 3 from 4, sorry, when she beats Mariah May. And in Group D, you've got 100% records there for Sari with 2 from 2. You've got them for Chris Statlander and Britt Baker. And then it's not been a great one so far for Yuki Sakazaka or Arisa Nakajima. And of course, we just saw Serena Deeb pick up her first points. But still plenty to play for, a maximum of 30 points, of course. And a lot of people have a lot of matches to go on the road to double or nothing. So that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's say hopefully we can start getting more of these stories aligned for Dynasty. Yeah, I'll probably have a couple of tournament matches on Dynasty as well with the bigger talents, but most importantly, as I say, will be those big storylines. I feel like it's just gang warfare, and it's just making sure we can make it make sense effectively. I hope you're enjoying it, because the save's been an absolute blast. I'm actually at the stage now where it's like I just want to keep making videos because I'm having so much fun with the save and I just want to keep playing it. So as always, thanks for watching. A wee thumbs up would be deeply appreciated. Remember, for all your TW resources, best place to check out as always, Fantasy Booker subreddit, Dog Software Forums, twdb.com and bethebooker.net. You can catch me on our socials as well. And until next time, I was Twitler Maxwell, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.